Steve Harvey, how does a man keep a marriage intact long term?
Keep your damn mouth shut.
There it is. There it is.
Just shut up.
That's right.
Don't say nothing.
Right.
It's best don't say nothing. There ain't no trying to fix. That way you ain't got to fix. What if you're right? What? What did he say?
What did you say?
What if you're right?
What do you believe?
What if you're right? Are you married? Yes, I am. You actually said that? What if you're right?
Yes.
When? I mean, sometimes. When? What?
Love it.
Boy, your dumb ass ain't gonna make 15. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, so this is my response to this, to what Steve Harvey said. I think that there is a issue with baby boomers. No disrespect to y'all, but there is a issue with the boomers, and there's an issue with Generation X. Not all of y'all. Not all of the men in that generation. Not all of y'all. So if it don't apply, don't take offense to it, because I know all y'all do not operate this way. But I think that there's this thing where it's kind of like this social, it's socially accepted to let your woman control you and let your woman, and this is why I think a lot of the women operate how they operate now with the modern women of my generation, why they are so masculine, why they are so dominant, why they want to operate in the nature and they want to operate in the role in which they should not be operating in, right? And men like myself, I get looked at as the bad guy with these younger women, which I don't give a fuck. But there is a thing where you have this like, the happy wife, happy life bullshit. And it is exactly what I just said. It's bullshit. A marriage is not about, at least in my opinion, I've never been married, right? So I'm speaking on my opinion. If you disagree, I don't really give a fuck. We can have a conversation about it though. But at least in my opinion, I don't think a marriage is about whatever my wife says. As long as she's happy, I'm gonna just deal with whatever. I don't agree with that. I think that a marriage is about two people being able to communicate effectively and coming to a conclusion. If you are a man and you are in a situation with your wife and you guys can't come to a conclusion because even though you're right, she's not going to listen to you, that means you're not leading your household correctly. That means your woman does not respect you. That means that you are in a situation that is not healthy, and you should not be looked at as a deficit or looked down upon by other people because you want to make sure things are okay. You want to question things. You want to communicate. I will never be in a situation with a woman where as long as she's happy, it is what it is. No, we're both in this marriage. We're both allowed to be happy. We should both be able to communicate with each other and come to a conclusion and come down to a solution. So you can miss me with the happy wife, happy life BS. Even on the other side, even though that's not a thing, nobody says happy husband, happy life. Nobody says that. But even on the other side, I don't think the marriage is as long as the man is happy. Nah. But and again, a marriage ain't about happiness. If we're gonna keep it 100. A marriage is not just about being happy. A marriage is about building a legacy. That's what it's about. It's about building a legacy. It's about the children and creating a dynasty to where you can create generational wealth and you can, instill it into your children, your grandchildren. It's about structure. Now, that doesn't mean that you should be in a marriage that is not happy. The point that I'm making is, though, that's not what it's about, because happiness is a feeling. That's what happiness is. It's a feeling. And you ain't going to be happy every single day in no marriage. You're not going to be happy every single day. You're going to be unhappy for you're going to be unhappy for some days. You're going to be unhappy for a lot of days. You can be happy for a lot of days. It's about trying to, come to a conclusion and trying to find a solution to keep this shit intact long term for the greater good of the entire family. So there is just this acceptance thing that I've been hearing a lot from people in the Generation X and the baby boomers. Like, why is it so socially acceptable and publicly acceptable? Like, well, socially acceptable would have been a better word. Socially acceptable for y'all to be in these marriages and in these relationships where your wife is just, long as she happy, I'm cool. And you're just dealing with trauma every day. You annoyed, you dealing with her attitude, you stressed out from work, you ain't getting a home cooked meal all the time, you ain't getting your dick sucked how you want to get your dick sucked, you ain't getting no breakfast when you want it, but she getting everything. You paying the bills, you make sure she protected, you ain't whooping her ass, you ain't cheating on her, you ain't abusing her, you're giving her everything that she needs, at least everything that she need and half of what she want. You ain't getting what you need or what you want, but you're supposed to just deal with it and accept it, and that's how the relationship gonna go. Fuck that bullshit. I ain't gonna never be in a relationship like that ever. So, and this goes into why I say I think Steve Harvey gives terrible advice, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think Steve Harvey gives terrible advice. I've watched Steve Harvey for a while. I think Steve Harvey is hilarious in movies, by the way. I think he's terrible in stand-up. But when it comes to Steve Harvey, when it comes to his show, I think he's not. I think he's not. I think he's too much of a person that is trying to appease his audience. Steve Harvey knows that his audience is single women from the ages of 30 to 60. He understands that. So what I think Steve Harvey likes to do is he likes to play on the emotional tip of these women. Steve Harvey doesn't like to go against the grain too much, but he will go against the grain on men, which is fine. That's why I like Kevin Samuels a lot. Kevin Samuels went against the grain on men. He held men accountable. Thing with Steve Harvey is he doesn't want to hold the women accountable like he should because he knows he's going to lose a lot of his base. I'm going to give you guys an example. If you ever watched the Steve Harvey show and you've seen when he does the segment where he had people come up and ask him for advice, right? Women of all ages, sometimes men of all ages come up, but it's usually women. What you'll see is there'll be a woman that comes on and she'll say something like this. Hey, Steve. She'll be talking on the mic just like this. Hey, Steve, I'm single. I have 3 children, 3 different fathers. I'm 34 and men can't handle me. What should I do? And he'll do the little joking thing where he stare for like 5 seconds and the crowd will laugh and he'd be like, what the hell? Yo, what your ass say? And that stupid ass fucking country, not even, he got a stupid ass accent that you can't even, anyway. But what he'll do is he'll say something as if that woman that he's talking to that can actually happen for her. So what Steve Harvey does is he gives advice from a probability standpoint, not a possibility standpoint, or I'm sorry. Yeah, he does it from a possibility standpoint. I messed it up. Steve Harvey gives advice from a possibility standpoint, not a probability standpoint. So what I mean by that is, to that woman that asked that question, what he'll do is he'll say, okay, well, what you should do is this. And he'll give advice. And sometimes the advice is actually on point. Sometimes. But what he won't do is he won't say this. And this is what he should be saying. You're 34, or I don't know, whatever age I say. You're 34 with 3 children and 3 different fathers. What makes you think that you're the catch? And what makes you think that a man should handle you with all the baggage that you come with? That is the question that he should be asking that woman, but he won't ask that question. You know why? Because all of the other women in the crowd, the women that are watching on TV and YouTube, they, not say that they're 34 with 3 children, but they are going to take offense to the question. Because why does her age matter? Why does her kids matter? Why does her attitude matter? That's what's going to be asked to Steve Harvey. So he's not going to actually, not attack, but he's not going to challenge the person asking the question. You have to challenge the person asking the question. You have to. You have to hold the person accountable that's asking the question. So you can give them advice in a possibility standpoint. Sure. Yeah. A woman with 3 children that's 34 with a bad attitude, that's overweight, that thinks a man should have to handle her. Sure, she can get Chris Brown. Is it a possibility? Sure, it's a possibility. You got a better possibility of getting bitten by a shark and getting malaria and getting struck by lightning in the same day. I'm gonna say it again. You got a better chance of getting bitten by a shark, getting malaria, and getting struck by lightning in the same day. You got a better chance of that than getting with Chris Brown or Drake or whoever other these women be liking, right? You got a better chance of that. Steve Harvey won't say that though. He'll give the advice as if this hypothetical woman asking the question has a chance to get the hypothetical man. That's the problem. You can't give advice like that because you're setting people up for failure and you're giving people false hope. That's the problem. Everything is a possibility, but it's not probable. It's not likely. So you're setting people up for failure. So no, if a woman comes on my show, y'all have seen it. I'll have hundreds and hundreds of one-on-one conversations for a reason. When women come up and they ask me, hey, Aunt, what should I do? You know, I'm in a situation. Well, the first thing I say is, well, Aunt, why should I want a good man. What should I do? What is the first thing that I always say? What makes you think that you should get a good man? Why does the good man want you? Why would the good man choose you? That's the challenging question that a lot of these women and men on the flip side don't get, because they already put themselves on a pedestalized. They already pedestalized themselves from, I am valuable enough. I am worthy enough. I do deserve the good person. Okay, that's fine. You should think of yourself in that aspect as long as you're being honest. So if you're saying that I'm already the top of the top of the top and I can get everybody that I want, well, first of all, why is it not happening? And number two, give tangible reasons as to why. And usually there is no tangible reason. Usually the response is, well, I think I'm a good person because I said so. I think I'm a good person just because I am. Yeah, you and everybody else. So that's why I think Steve Harvey gives terrible advice, because he tiptoes around the truth, because he doesn't want to mess up his main base of the millions of women who listen to him, the millions of women who buys his book, Think Like a Man, and all that. I think it's terrible advice. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Facts. And instead of keeping it 100, or instead of keeping it real, he panders to them. Yeah, you can't pander. You have to be honest with people. Men too. You have to be honest with the men too. I'm not picking a side. You have to be honest with the men as well. Steve Harvey is like the medical industry. Why would he give the cure when he can sell snake oil medicine and make millions? Right. Why would he give you the cure, Marcus, when I can just keep giving you bullshit? It's going to keep you coming back. If I give you the cure, I may have made $1,000, but if I give you this, right, you will keep coming back for the next 5 years. I've made $150,000. So of course I'm going to take this aspect and take this road. That's the problem with Steve Harvey. Great logic, Marcus. Dating is totally different in this era. Absolutely. I think people should date on their level, to be fair. Yeah. But when you say level, a lot of times when women say level, they're talking about money. And the difference with level, we need to make sure that we're talking about what's the actual level, because you could be a woman that doesn't make a lot of money and still attract a man that makes a lot of money because you're attractive, right? So we need to figure out what level is. You got women that ain't making no money compared to the man that they're dating, but they meet the qualifications for that hypothetical man because a woman's value is not based in their money. You could be a woman that's very attractive, feminine, soft, nurturing, in shape. You're submissive. You communicate, and you're you want to have children. You want to be a wife. And you want to be a mother. You can get that rich man because you meet all the other qualifications. You ain't gotta have a bunch of money to get a rich man. So you have to meet the qualifications that the man is looking for, and vice versa for what that woman is looking for. And then most women consider a good man with who can provide the materialistic as opposed to actually being a good man. I think younger women do that more so than older women. I would agree with you. Yeah, younger. I mean, I'm not saying older women don't do it, but yeah, that's a lot of times what modern women, yes, modern women for sure. What he thinks is helping them is really only going to create more problems for them in the long run. Absolutely. Right, we'll take a chick that work at McDonald's. Hell yeah, if you a good woman, you can work at McDonald's. As long as you ain't got like no outstanding debt that you want me to pay, we can lock in. They typically don't pander to men because we will call that shit out and not believe the bullshit. Yeah. And because it's just good for the show, because the majority of the show is women, so the women want to see the men get shit on. I think everybody should get shit, not even shit on. I think everybody should be told the truth. It's really how you present yourself, men and women. Agreed. I mean, that's a part. That's not everything, but it's a big part of it. Presentation is very, very important when it comes to the dating market. I think presentation is more important for women than it is men, because a woman, your looks is your foundation, but presentation still matters for men as well. Still very important. Nothing wrong with being average. Absolutely not. It's not. Nothing wrong with being average whatsoever. People think average is a bad thing. Nobody thinks they're average though. I think that's the thing too. A lot of people don't think they're average. Average women definitely don't think they average women. They definitely don't.